Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, in fact, will be joining in to give us some perspective, and let's bring her on board. We have her joining in now on the show. And to start off with, Ms. Shaw, you are clearly one of the many industrialists. You've signed that change.org petition urging the MPs to allow the parliament to function. A fairly rare move. So what exactly made you do it?
I think India Inc. is extremely concerned that the entire monsoon session has been washed out and not a single important bill was even taken up for discussion. And I think this is something which doesn't at all augur well for the economy. And I think we have seen this disruption even in the previous government. And I think many of us did raise our voices about our concerns on stalling parliament. And this time around it is happening, consistently and continuously. So I think it's time for us as India Inc., as citizens, to basically, appeal to parliamentarians to say, listen, parliament is to legislate. And, stalling parliament is unparliamentary and unconstitutional. So please legislate on these important issues. There can always be found time for discussing on non-economic issues such as the Vyapam scam and other issues that they want to talk about. But don't hijack the economic agenda on the basis of this revenge politics. I think that's what we're trying to say.
That's indeed a fairly good initiative, Ms. Shaw. But now, given the fact that this petition has already come in criticism from a section of the political class, with Sharad Yadav criticizing the effort, saying that capitalists can't decide how parliament functions and that this signature campaign shows corporates voted the NDA to power. So what exactly is your reaction to such criticism?
This is ridiculous. It is irrational. I would like to ask Mr. Sharad Yadav, why doesn't he ban industrialists from his state and see whether he can actually have an economic agenda for the state without industry? I think every one of us is a stakeholder of this country, whether it is industrialists, whether it is farmers, whether it is employees, whether it is any citizen of this country. We are all equal stakeholders of this country. And I think when we see that there is a huge injustice being done to economic development, we will speak up. Who is he to ask us these questions?
Now, even today, Ms. Shaw, we saw that there was complete chaos in both the houses of parliament. How are we going to really ensure that politicians are held accountable to allow the houses to function, debate and legislate, which is what they're meant to do?
It is a very sorry state of affairs because politicians don't create jobs. It is industry that creates jobs. GST needs to be legislated upon because it will actually add at least 1% to GDP growth, and that too instantly. The effects of GST can be immediately realized in terms of economic reforms. And I think industry is very, very capable and concerned about job creation. It almost appears as if the politicians couldn't care less. Politicians are really resorting to one-upmanship politics. They couldn't care less about how the country is going, where it is headed, whether we are going to go into economic decline. They are not bothered. I think they need to act responsibly. At least make sure that you debate and discuss economic issues. And, you can always have different sessions devoted to non-economic issues. But please don't hijack and derail economic issues and economic reforms.
Yeah, fair enough. And, what is your view? Do you think that the ruling of the NDA government should have done more to build consensus? Because the current government was elected with the promise of economic growth and reforms. So in that sense, could they have done more to build consensus on key bills?
I am not politically astute to know what goes on behind the scenes. I would have assumed that the ruling government would have basically tried to build consensus with the opposition, but it looks like they haven't been able to do that. Now, I on my part don't even know how these things work, but I do believe that yes, the ruling party does need to get consensus or some kind of change in approach from the opposition to take things forward. But regardless of that, if the opposition is hell-bent on just not cooperating with the ruling government, then that also becomes a big issue. But I think this is a time for all political parties to align at least on economic development. This is not happening, and that is why I think India Inc. is very concerned, because India has a unique window of opportunities to basically be the most interesting and important investment destination, given the kind of recession and decline we are seeing in various other global economies, especially China. And if India does not rise to the occasion, then I think we would have lost a very, very valuable opportunity. And I wish, politicians would realize this. They don't seem to care. They seem to keep using the rhetoric of, capitalism, industry versus farmers. They don't care. Are they not interested in poverty alleviation? Are they not interested in, creating jobs? Are they not interested to see investment pouring into India? What is wrong with them?
But Ms. Shaw, there was a lot of optimism a year back, which you can't deny, when the government got elected. So how is sentiment on ground now, at least among business leaders, in light of the recent developments, or should we say lack of them?
All I can say is that we are making a mockery of democracy, of the Constitution, and I think the world is watching us. Obviously, we have made big statements to the world at large about India's economic future, and if they start seeing things deteriorating this way, where there is no governance at all, then I think it will be a sorry shame for us. But having said that, I'm sure at a state level, we will see certain states progressing, irrespective of the cacophony that is happening at the center.
Ms. Shaw, tell us finally, how do you think India Inc. will take this beyond change.com, beyond the change.org petition? Do you think that they will also you will also now look at meeting government leaders, members of other parties in the next few days in order to convey your concerns as well?
I wish the parliamentarians, especially the opposition, would talk to young people. Please talk to college students. Please talk to the youth and see what they think of all this drama and circus in the parliament. Forget about industry. Ask the common man what he thinks about the drama.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.